My name is Randy McCullough, known as Robinson. I'm the Master of Ceremonies for Geek.Kon 2010. So what do you think of the new digs, huh? Some of you remember we had a little Q&A session last year after our closing ceremonies. And Evan, our PR director, handed out questionnaires during the con asking for your feedback. And the biggest issue we had last year is simply put as space. We need more of it. Prior to that, we intended to stay at the Sheraton for another year, establish ourselves. But in light of that little piece of info, we spent the first month after last year's con going all around Madison, looking for a new location, a new place to stay. We looked at some of the other places, but they all seemed to lack a certain something, a certain je ne sais quoi. Then we saw this place, and we fell in love with it here. Now, this is not the first time the mayor had actually come up in Geek.Kon history. Right after the first Geek.Kon in 2007, a few of us were talking about going private right after that one. And as the conversation went on, it eventually drifted to where we would hold it. And I said to Bob, our con chairman, I said, hey, what about that hotel out in Middleton? I think it's a Marriott now. And the response came, nah, it's too far from campus. And the conversation drifted on. Which, at that point, considering we were a university convention, that was true. Flash forward another year, after Geek.Kon 2008, we decided to go private. So we start looking all over the place. Different staff are going to different hotels. And I get this call from Bob about 6 p.m. one night. And the first thing out of his mouth is, I have seen the Marriott, and it is awesome. Now, I was a little confused at this point, because by the tone of Bob's voice, I thought he had some kind of religious conversion. So I'm sitting here on Wikipedia looking up what deity he's talking about when common sense smacks me across the head and goes, dude, hotel. But committee decided at that point that we should go with the Sheraton. It was our first year as a private convention, our budget was a little tight, and the Sheraton came off as more affordable and closer to campus. So, as I said, at the end of last year, we're thinking, okay, 2 years at the Sheraton, establish ourselves, get to well-known. We're thinking we'll get about 500 to 800 people last year. We got over 1,000. And it just wasn't viable anymore. Now, the reason I was so gung-ho about coming here to the Marriott is not because of the beautiful lobby, nor the excellent facilities, nor the kind and courteous hotel staff. It's the simple fact that I live about 2 minutes from here. This means while the rest of the staff gets to argue over hotel rooms, listen to each other snore, I get to have a nice day at the con, then come home to my nice warm bed, get a good night's sleep, and come back the next day ready for more. Best of both worlds for me. However, I think you're going to be pleased with what we have here too. We now have the biggest video game room in Wisconsin, at least as far as content and variety. We've added another panel room, bringing our total up to 5 this year. And we've added another viewing room for some of the more mainstream programming that we hadn't heard that people want to see. Do you know that tonight we're showing Monty Python and the Holy Grail in one of our viewing rooms? This is a geek classic. This is actually considered a geek rite of passage to be able to recite this movie forwards and backwards. But I expect the majority of you have never actually seen it in a theater setting before. I know I haven't. Also, we're going to be showing tomorrow the 2009 Star Trek movie. This was still in theaters last year when Geek.Kon was going on. We're all a little bit excited about the fact that we get something so fresh at this con. And on Sunday, we'll be showing Hayao Miyazaki's Ponyo, which was also in theaters last year. So there's a little bit of something for everybody. Our tabletop and land rooms this year have been expanded. They were a very big draw last year, enough that it surprised most of us. So we've added more space for them. We've added tournaments going on in all 3 rooms, video game, LAN, and tabletop. We've also added special rooms like Geek.Kon, a special event going on, and other special events going on around the clock. Now, the second biggest issue we heard last year was food and the availability of it. Well, our change in venue has certainly fixed that problem. First of all, the hotel here is very kind and courteous enough to provide us with a menu and a place right outside the atrium where you can buy food, sandwiches, etc. for a reasonable price. But in the off hours, we still have the entire facilities of Greenway Station. The McDonald's, for instance, is open 24/7 in their drive-thru. But there's other restaurants, Denny's, Cheeseburger Paradise, etc. Pretty much any kind of variety you can want for food is available to you pretty much around the clock. And most of those will be available in the program book. Evan, do you have a copy of the program book? Yes. Your program book, and there is a map inside to those locations. Now, I'm going to pass things over to Evan, who has a few things to say.
Okay. As Randy just mentioned, we've gained a lot of things this year, and we have a lot of things to be grateful for. But what better time to look back on fondly on the things that we've lost this past year? So, I made this little slideshow for you.